All right, so Ian is skilled.
And I'm skilled. Yeah.
I'll be unskilled.
Okay.
Okay.
We are doing the workload dilemma.
Sounds good.
I'm just reading again real quick.
So do we want to have everybody else who's not talking to you?
I was just rereading.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so define the problem. Define the problem, please. Okay, so do I go first or do you go first?
I'll start. So,
Okay.
so Sally, how are we doing today?
I guess okay. This is part of work that it's beyond my knowledge, and I'm exerting a lot of time on this.
Okay, fair enough. Can you explain just a little bit more about why you think it's beyond your knowledge?
It's just beyond my experience. I understand, but I don't know how to approach it. And I know that I'm taking an inordinate amount of time to accomplish this, and just the regular assignments are already piling up. And I recently began working additional evening each week, so it's just I'm overwhelmed, and I feel like I'm not doing a good enough job.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I can see why you'd feel overwhelmed. A lot of that's news to me. I've kind of got my own perception on what I've been seeing. Is there any perceptions from me that you're getting that I may not be aware of?
What do you mean by that?
Well, I guess kind of what I mean by that is that, like, to me, I didn't understand that a lot of this was overwhelming to you. So that's one thing I didn't understand about how you're feeling about, the situation kind of thing. I was wondering if there's any miscommunication from my part, body language or anything like that coming across.
Well, I feel like I'm overwhelmed, and that I've got too much going on right now, and I'm worried that my ability is not going to meet the demands that you have of me, and that I'm wondering if you're trying to force me to leave.
Well, first off, definitely not trying to force you to leave. So this is why I wanted to just chat really quick, not create a solution, but just figure out where we're miscommunicating at this part, so that I can better help you, because you're getting a lot of workload for a reason. We're a little short staffed. It's critical to have everybody, and you are quite good at what you do. So let's figure out how we can get these demands kind of in your realm of your experience. What kind of things do you think we can do?
I think that that maybe we can break things up into smaller chunks, or that maybe maybe there's a way that we can somehow lessen my workload that I agreed to do, and then build on with it as I go and as I complete tasks. I think that's something that we could look at, and I think that maybe I could go to some sort of PD or management classes to help me with this. Oops, sorry, something fell. So that could maybe help me and budget my time, or maybe there's a way that volunteers can help, because I still feel just overwhelmed, and that I'm not going to meet your expectations.
Well, I like the suggestions. I kind of want to just talk just very super briefly through each one. Break things into smaller chunks for you. Just, I mean, in like a sentence, could you maybe describe what you mean by breaking it into smaller chunks for me?
Give me one assignment and then let me finish that assignment and then move me to the next assignment.
Okay, that makes sense. I just want to make sure we're clear on, you know, how we're framing this problem set on both of our sides. So I don't, you know, we don't come to a conclusion, and again, I don't really know, you know, what you're thinking. So I'd imagine you'd think lesson workload would kind of fall in line with that kind of thing. I mean, I don't think we're really going to be able to lessen workload. I do like the thought on getting volunteers to help. That's definitely something I can work on, trying to get there. PD or management class. I like that idea an awful lot. How do you think we'd fit that into your already pressed workload? Because you do great work, and I really can't lose you for a whole lot more time. How do you think we could fit that in there?
Is there a way where we could send me for the day somewhere and have an additional volunteer take my role, or split my role among the two, or like 2 or 3 volunteers, so that way I could participate in that during my volunteer hours?
Okay. I like it, kind of like a day, send you to a day seminar kind of thing, just maybe a certificate course at a community college or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. That might be beneficial.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I like that idea a lot. I mean, that's definitely a good idea, something systemically we could look at for the organization. If you could choose one of them, which one would you go with? It can be a hybrid of them as well.
I don't know. I think I'd probably say let's try the going into smaller segments first, because I think that's something we can implement immediately, and I think that's something that we can maintain a good relationship with the rest of the volunteers, but I think we can work towards sending me to a class of some sort to kind of help me.
Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Because I think, I mean, there was the issue of you not attending meetings and things like that, but I think that's not stuff I really need to state. You understand that. I think if we break it into smaller chunks and we'll sit down and write out a plan, obviously not for this scenario, sit down and write out a plan and figure out how we want to break it down into smaller chunks. And then I can do some research, or, you know, you can let me know what you find as far as that day seminar, and we can put it all together.
Well, and in regards to the meetings, it's just I feel that I have that overwhelming feeling that I'm just like, I'm not doing enough. Like I haven't been doing enough. So I think that by breaking it into those smaller chunks to where I can complete one thing at a time, that would help me in the long run.
I agree 100% on that. I agree with you there. And that's why I kind of at the very beginning wanted to get out this misinterpretation of kind of what you're thinking and what I'm thinking, you know, not necessarily meeting eye to eye there, because now understanding that there's a very good reason as to why you weren't at meetings. So, I mean, it's not really up for me to get mad at you or reprimand you or anything like that. But figure out a solution on how we can, you know, make the best of the situation for both of us. More so, you know, for you. Okay, cool. So I think we're going to go, if you agree, I think we're going to go with that. Break it into chunks and then do that. But we'll look for that day seminar to send. And then one thing I'd like you to do out of that is we can figure out how to institutionalize that and how I can get other employees to that after you go to one and come back with feedback and say if it's a good program or not.
Okay. I think I can do that. Yeah, I think I can do that. I think that would be something that's possible, and it at least gears us in the right direction for that.
Yeah.
So how do you want me to actually bring that material back?
So that's where I was kind of looking at this, like how to evaluate results on how we're going to go about this. Obviously, we'll fine tune it later through the process. But but I think probably just at first just bring some, you know, like your top 3 takeaways from that course or the, you know, that certificate program or whatever we find. And then we can kind of give you, have you give like maybe a 10-minute quick, here's my key feedback. Cause I don't want you just to go and then just, you know, everybody else, you know, what you learn there can definitely help everybody else out, including me. Cause I haven't been to any of those either. And to kind of have you get back and just, for lack of a better term, disseminate that knowledge off that key stuff that you learned. If that sounds okay with you.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think that is something I can do, and it will be reflective for me in the long run. So
Sure.
we'll do that. We will break. And I agree with you. We will break my work into chunks, and let me do one thing at a time. And if I need help, I'll ask. Instead of just not showing up and not doing things, I will ask and let you know.
Okay.
And then we can work towards getting me some PD to where I can take a class.
Absolutely. And I do appreciate you wanting to step out and let me know, kind of thing. It's not necessarily something you have to do. I mean, it's very conscientious of you. But yeah, no, I'm happy with this. I think we're moving things in the right direction. Yeah, definitely. We'll see how it goes, but I got a really good feeling about it.
Okay. So I think we did the role play, but now we've got to do number 6, which is the develop a process for evaluating results. So how did we each feel about that between you and I? I think we go through letters A through I between Ian and I. Yeah.
I think one of the observers is supposed to ask you guys this question.
Oh, that would make more sense, wouldn't it?
It says the observer should lead the group in step 6.
Okay.
Okay.
So I can ask you guys the questions if you want.
Okay.
Okay. So how did you feel about the process?
Right, Jess.
Was that for you or me? Sorry, I didn't hear the name.
Yes.
So I felt like I almost needed to memorize that role play, the workload dilemma, because I felt like I wasn't prepared in trying to actually work through that. But that might also be because we're still new to role plays and we're still feeling it out for ourselves.
Yeah, I also agree with that. The role play is good for kind of working through the process on paper, but it's really hard to get any emotion behind it. I kept looking back down the paper, make sure I'm hitting my points, kind of thing. Trying not to look at Jess's points, so I'm not trying to, game the system and go in front of it, kind of thing. So,
right.
Jess, what did you like best about the process?
I liked best that we actually got to see how each other would work through a conversation, and it kind of gave me the opportunity to put myself in the other's shoes.
And Ian, what did you like best?
Yeah, very similar. Just able to think, because it gives you that little bit of clairvoyance to see what their thought process is, so you can kind of work what you're going to say beforehand. So I think that helps with just getting that practice in. So.
And then what each of you liked least?
The timing. It was supposed to be 15 minutes and we made it to about 10. And I was like, okay, how do you keep this going for 15 minutes? And then I thought, well, maybe that 15 minutes is also supposed to be this part of step 6.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the same thing. Just trying to, because I kept that in my mind of trying to keep it going longer, and you just kind of draw it out and maybe, re-say a few things you may not have actually said in real life, kind of thing. So.
And I think we actually hit step 7 without actually explicitly saying that we hit step 7. We did, at the
Yeah.
end, we summarized and talked about the experience and kind of probed around to see if there were any questions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of us have been in these kind of situations where you've had to sit down with somebody and, you know, chat a problem through with them, either as a supervisor or as a non-supervisor position. I know, Jess, you have as a teacher coach, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just got to naturally do that. It's one of those just skills you just automatically pull out of the bag. It's like, okay, let's summarize this and, you know, move on with our days kind of thing. So I think, yeah.
Okay, so then Ian, since you were the skilled party, what was something that bothered you?
I think what bothered me, and I kind of understand why they would do it in the scenario, but like, so if you don't read Sally's part, you just read yours, it's going to set you up for kind of what we were talking in class yesterday, or I think DeWitt was talking. Like, you're going to pop that emotion real quick. Like, you know, you're not looking at me, you're not showing up to meetings, you're going to start doing all this pointing, you're kind of pissing me off kind of thing. And it'll, you don't quite have that. You're not fact finding at that point. But I kind of see why they did it. But that's kind of what I found just a little bothering about the scenario itself. But like I said, I kind of see why they would write that in there like that.
And then just something that bothered you as the unskilled party.
I think going back to me feeling that unpreparedness of the role play, because it's something still so new to me that I was like, am I doing this right? Is this really what's supposed to happen? So I kind of had a little hesitancy of where I was like, I don't really know. But then we got things rolling and I think it started to move better.
Yeah, it definitely sounded more natural as you guys got going a little bit. Okay. So Ian, something you wish you hadn't done or said.
Something I wish I hadn't done. I don't know. I didn't get really any. I don't think I did enough really to actually give an opinion on something I wish I hadn't done. So I think we were trying to get used to the scenario so much that I really didn't dive into that emotional part of it, and, you know, piss Jess off or anything like that. So had done, yeah, sure. There's a lot of stuff there, but yeah, I don't really have a whole lot for that.
Okay. What about you, Jess? Something you wish you hadn't done or said?
I think I wish I hadn't continued to look at like the guide and the book to go back to that, because I wanted to see what Ian's facial expressions were more and what his like body language was. So I think that's something that I wish I hadn't done.
And then what each of you can do better next time.
Almost memorize that role play. Like,
Yeah.
not really memorize it, but know it well enough. So I think for next time, we need, as a group, we need to decide what role play do we want to do in advance, so that way we can all kind of look it up and actually come in with a plan.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that one, because like I underlined, yeah, it'd be good to have like just notes, 2 separate sheets of notes kind of thing. One for Patrick or James, and then one for Sally, and then just kind of flip between them depending on what role you're in, because I've got stuff underlined on both and I'd keep looking at both. So like I said, trying to game the system, but.
Cool. All right, and then as the observer, I will share additional positive observation. So in the beginning, I knew that you guys were kind of like trying to like feel out the water or whatever, but then like Ian, as the skilled observer, you definitely followed like the process. in the steps. So that kind of like really kept the conversation going, and I think you guys did a really good job in kind of compromising, I guess. And like I was looking at like directions for playing each of the roles in the book, and I think you guys both did a really good job because you were both open-minded, and you didn't like just succeed right away or like keep fighting back to get your point across. You actually came to a decision together. So I think you guys both did a really good job. And Anjali and Melissa, if you want to add anything, you can.
Thank you.
Cool.
I thought you guys did a great job, honestly. Just like Tara said in the beginning, you know, you guys were kind of like filling the water, like you kind of like, I guess we're just thinking about what you wanted to say, or like what should you say, or I don't know, the way you guys wanted to put it. But then afterwards, like Ian, you know, you felt it, like you knew what like you had to say, like it just flowed through. And you guys did a great job. I mean, you guys compromised at the end, like what, you know, what you guys feel is best. And I mean, I don't know, like it went well. It went really good.
Cool. Thanks.
It sounded like you guys actually had a real conversation, and it wasn't just a role play situation. It was a back and forth. It started out forced a little bit, but then it got smoother and smoother and smoother the more that you progressed throughout the role play.
Yeah. And going first was the hardest, really, because you're the first one reading the exercise and like the first one to do each role. So now like we already know better the stance of each person. So I feel like we'll have a not as hard of a time as you guys may have had in the beginning, but I think you guys did great.
Awesome. All right. Well,
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're doing this one scenario. Wouldn't it be kind of like a bit like the same thing? Because like, I mean, we would probably eventually say the same, I guess, like solution, or like, you get what I'm saying? Like it's repetitive.
Well, I think
If that makes sense.
I think she has it that way, so that way we can reflect on what the differences were and see the similarities. And by watching the same thing, we each see the same thing, but at the same time see differences. I know that's confusing. Does that make sense?
I mean, because I know what you're saying. It's just like, you know, I thought it would have been like, okay, you know, put yourself in that situation without knowing, without hearing someone else do it, like, you know.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Because like, you know how you two did it, like, you know, you didn't hear someone else do it, like y'all just going off by like what you thought was right or like whatnot.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think it's just that way so we can get like we could be exposed to it numerous times, and in doing so we learn the process more. I think that's what it is. All right, so you want to switch roles?
Each one's going to be a little different. So. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Who wants to be the observer since Tara was on that one?
I mean, I could be it.
Okay. Will you time us for 15 minutes and let us know when we've got 5 minutes left?
All right, give me 1 second.
I'll be James.
I'm not doing a girl's voice. It will get really awkward for everyone.
You can be sad.
Okay.
I could hold up my Lisa Frank notebook. Sorry, too soon.
Don't judge.
Not judging, envy. Come on now, envious.
It's even got interactive.
That is epic.
Look. All right. Sorry.
No, you're good. Sorry.
You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
Starting now.
Sally, why are you avoiding me? You're not even talking to me. You don't even make eye contact.
Well, maybe there's a reason I'm not making eye contact. You know, it's cornering me like this is not going to do any good trying to get me to tell you why I'm not making eye contact.
Well, then let's have a conversation about it.
Okay, where do you want to have the conversation?
We can just go to the office real quick if you'd like, because I'd like to actually figure out what our problem is and why you seem to be avoiding me and missing meetings.
By our problem, do you mean the problem you may have with me or the problem I have with you or both of us?
I think both.
Okay, fine. Let's go talk.
All right, we walk to the room. All right, so what's up? Why have you been missing meetings and you seem like you're avoiding me?
Well, I mean, perception is one thing. I'm not actually trying. I'm not trying to avoid you. I just have some problems going on right now.
Okay, so what might those problems be?
Well, first off, I'm kind of worried about what you're thinking about me right now. That's my main problem. That's one of the problems I've got right now.
Okay, well, I think you're a great employee. I mean, and a great volunteer. I think that you've really put in some hours and you've really dedicated a lot to this campus chapel service, and you've done a great job. But I want you to know that, and if I have not told you that in the past, I apologize. But I still would like to know, why do you seem like you're avoiding me? Even though we've answered the first part, what would be the other reason?
Well, it's kind of nice to get this off my chest. But I mean, I'm a volunteer here. And, you know, and being a volunteer, I feel you're placing an awful lot of work on me, because not only is it extra duties, but now it's regular duties that I have to do on a daily basis. And this stuff is really piling up, and I really can't get it all done. That's the other problem I'm having.
Okay. So the work is piling up and you feel frustrated because of that, and you also feel like I have not acknowledged your work. Is that right? Or tell me more.
I don't even think it's really the acknowledgement of the work. I mean, because I feel you're acknowledging the work because you're giving me more. It's just now it's getting a little outside of my comfort zone. You're giving me tasks that I don't think I can really do. So, you know, kind of one of those, the price of competence, I guess, kind of is what I'm feeling a little bit here. So I feel I'm pretty good at my other duties, but now you're giving me more. I don't think I can do all the duties to your standard, or to my standard. And honestly, at this point, I'm kind of worried you're going to let me go.
So you're feeling frustrated and worried because of the amount of work you're doing as a volunteer.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
how can we solve this?
I mean, at this point, I'm still not quite sure that you're not going to fire me, because I've seen these scenarios play out in a couple different ways before. So what are your thoughts? What do you think?
I'm not going to fire you. You're a good volunteer, and I'm not going to let a good volunteer go. So, and I want to maintain this good relationship that we have, as well as the relationship you and I have with the other volunteers. And I just want to make sure that the work gets done. So I'm thinking somehow we need to come up with a couple of solutions to assist with this goal of getting the work done, but still having a good workplace culture and volunteer culture as well.
Okay. I mean, is it possible to get any more volunteers in here to kind of help spread the wealth, I guess, of work?
I think that's a possibility. I think we could definitely try and get more volunteers in. We would have to come up with a way to bring volunteers in and ask for volunteers. But if you know of somebody who's thinking of volunteering, definitely bring them in, and that they could be your right hand man or your partner for your work, and we could get this done. And I think that would take some stress off of you as well.
Well, I mean, it may add stress just because now I'm having to, maybe look after them kind of thing. If somebody I know, I could probably work that. But if it's somebody I don't know, then I've got to learn that person and try and, maneuver through how they do work and all that kind of stuff. So I can see it kind of as a viable option, but we may have to tweak it just a little bit, just depending on who it is.
Okay, well, let's keep that option open. That could be a possibility. I think another option that you could have is that maybe we could, or I could give more work to other people, other volunteers that we already have, and not give you as much. So kind of back off a little bit and then look at the other volunteers' area of expertise and their knowledge and their background and give them the tasks that would be more aligned to their background.
Sure. I almost think I prefer the first option because I don't want to inconvenience people. I know everybody is really pressed around here. I mean, I know there's a reason you've been giving me more tasks. It's just kind of all just steamrolled together and kind of got me frustrated and, a little upset and worried, like you said earlier. So I think probably I'd like the first option a little bit better. Because it'll help break things down, and then maybe just looking at, kind of where I want to take, my life I know as a volunteer, but, kind of build everything towards taking your life in a direction, if I'm able to kind of work some, not managerial, but, team lead kind of stuff, I think that may be kind of a cool thing.
Okay, so then let's do that. Let's bring on an additional volunteer or 2 volunteers. And we'll make sure that you either know them or you are comfortable working with them, even if that means we need to go through a process first. We can define that process when we get to that stage. But
okay,
do that. We will bring on some additional volunteers to help you with your workload.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I think that'll work. And then I heard of this other really cool volunteer you've got asked for kind of like some management classes.
Okay.
What's the deal on that? How can I get in on that?
So that is something that we will have to look into. It's not instant and it's not going to happen immediately. But if we bring on the additional volunteers and those volunteers help you with your workload, then we can start to look at scheduling a time for you to get into one of those management classes that can help you manage and order things and complete tasks of various things and have them done by deadlines without you feeling overwhelmed and without you feeling like you're doing a subpar job, because you're not. You're doing a great job.
Okay. I know I was pushing a little with that one. Yeah, no, I appreciate you pulling me to the side and asking, because honestly, I don't think I would have been able to come to you on my own, and I think things would have just kept getting worse and worse and worse. But yeah, no, I appreciate you pulling me to the side and chatting with me about this.
Well, I think that you not making eye contact and avoiding me and missing meetings, I think that sent up some red flags. And at first, that was very kind of like, whoa, what's going on? Why is she doing this? This is not normal. So I really wanted to ask you about it, and I'm sorry if I felt like if you felt like I cornered you at first. That was not the intention.
No, it's okay. It was just kind of everything rolling together, and I was not doing the right things. But until and you've got all those, rumors in your head and thoughts and theories, you just have no idea what's going on. So, yeah, no, I see now I was throwing up red flags. So.
Okay. Well, we have a plan. So we will bring on more volunteers, and once we bring on the volunteers, we'll put you in one of those management classes that you're talking about, and that shouldn't be a problem.
Cool.
All right.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me.
All right. Is there any questions or anything?
Nope. But I think I'm going to tap dance on out of here.
All right. Deuces.
But yeah.
All right. So
did we get anywhere close to 10 minutes?
Is that 10 minutes or no? I felt like that was an hour.
You guys had like only 3 more minutes left. So yeah, you guys did a great job.
I mean,
you're almost done, literally.
I felt like that was an hour.
Yeah, I was stretching hard on that one. Sorry.
Okay.
You didn't crack. You stayed in character when I threw out to this other employee said they got management classes.
I was like, all right.
Okay.
So you guys want me to ask the questions?
Mm-hmm.
Or okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first question, how did well, let me ask. Sorry. Jessica, how did you feel about the process?
I think that went a lot smoother. I also kind of knew I knew the role play scenario a lot better, so I think that went a lot better.
Okay. And
yeah, I think it went better as well. I saw both of us. I mean, when I was looking down, I was trying to do the avoiding eye contact, trying to be just a little emotional about it, I guess, just to kind of give you the, hey, I'm feeling a little, bashful about talking about this kind of stuff. But yeah, I very rarely did I look at it because I just knew it better and it came better. So.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. How did you what did you like best about the process, Jessica?
I liked the fact that we started differently. At first, the first time we did it, it was kind of like, oh, okay, this is kind of how we do it. And then the second time, we were definitely more creative with it.
Right. Okay. What about you?
I agree. I think from just my side, I saw Jess using a lot of the different techniques, kind of not as a step-by-step kind of thing, but kind of using them intermix. So, yeah. So that's I think the second time through is a little bit more natural. You can play with it just a little bit more.
Okay. And what did you guys like least about it?
I think time, because I think the time it didn't let us play it out naturally, because I thought it would have ended a lot sooner, just by the way it was naturally going. But we're trying to stretch it out to 10 minutes kind of thing. So there's felt a little force there on both sides towards the end. But
Yeah, I have to agree with that because we were more comfortable with it, but we were still, and I know at least for me, in the back of my mind, I was still thinking, what time is it? Like, it feels like an hour later. But then I'm like, okay, well, it can't be an hour later because I was still looking at the clock on my computer. So that was kind of the most difficult part.
Yep.
All right. So I guess for the skill person, what is something that bothered you? Wait, is that? Yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking at my computer back and forth, guys. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I think something that bothered me would have to be not actually being in person to do this. Because that time I was able to actually look at Ian's expressions and body language a lot better than the previous time. But at this point, now I was like, okay, so I'd rather be face to face with somebody and getting that human interaction to really kind of get into the role play type thing.
Okay.
I agree. I'll echo that for the unskilled side. Yeah, I think at this point, you can only do so much online. But yeah, I think at this point, it's kind of the human interaction, actually, looking somebody in the eye kind of thing. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Jess, something that you wish that you hadn't done or said.
I felt like at one point I really kind of stuttered over my words. A couple times really, and I kept like looking up, like trying to think. I wish I wouldn't have done that because I feel like that breaks the attention.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Ian?
Yeah, I think I kind of set her up for hey, you create the solutions. So I put the onus back on her. I mean, I kind of did it on purpose. I think she did a great job of, kind of putting it back on me and not going, hey, here's your solution kind of thing. But I kind of wish I hadn't done that because it may have put her in kind of a rough spot.
But. And what is something that you guys can do better next time?
Again, I'm gonna say choosing the role play prior to a meeting.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go back to that one.
Okay. Yeah, I'll echo that.
Okay, and let's see what's the next one. Oh, that was Everest. I thought you guys did a great job. That it was, now that you guys had the feel for it, that you guys did the first time, the second time, you guys already knew the scenario and you guys knew, well, you guys didn't know what to say, but it was it went smooth. And just I like how you gave the option of basically telling Ian that he can find people volunteers that he know to do some of the work too, because it's not like someone that's he don't know, but someone that he know that can actually help him out with the workload and whatnot. So I thought that was a good thing. Anyone else? Tara or you guys want to add on to anything?
I thought Ian did a great job too. Obviously, it was your second time around, and even though you had different positions, it just flowed really smoothly. I thought you guys did a great job.
Thank you.
I like the added emotion that was more in here. There was more back and forth and not as stilted as we did in the first one. You could get more frustration shown. You can get more exasperation.
Yeah, I agree with that. And really quick, I was like looking through the directions, and even if we only did 4 role plays, I think that just means we do it 4 times. So instead of like what we just did, where I was unskilled and then skilled
Mm-hmm.
twice, I
Wow.
think now it's another group, and that's technically the second role play.
Right.
And then so like if Tara and Melissa want to go, then they're one group. So that's 2 role plays total, and then Angeli and Tara, that's 3 role plays. Does that make sense? I don't think
Yeah.
we have to switch like we just
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. How long is it supposed to be though?
It's only
It's what?
15 minutes a role play. Because I was like, if we switch, then that's
The
30 minutes
People
per.
ever.
Yeah, that's almost 2 hours. So I was like, something's not right. And a light bulb clicked. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we weren't supposed to switch. We were just supposed to do a different group.
Yeah.
Yep. Good call.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Well, you guys got extra practice.
Still figuring this out. So
We'll have to, when you send her the recording, we can tell her that you can skip the first one or the second one.
Yeah.
maybe there's a way I can edit it.
Oh, yeah.
I doubt it.
No problem.
All right.
All right. Who wants to go?
I'll do the skill.
I'll go the unskilled.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Wants to be observed.
I can be the observer and time it.
Okay.
Let me know when you're ready, and I will start the timer.
All right. I'm ready. You ready, Melissa? Flash Sally. All right. Here we go. Hey, Sally. Do you mind if I talk to you for a minute?
Sure. What's up?
All right. So I've just been kind of noticing lately that you seem kind of distant, and I just kind of feel like you may be avoiding me, and you haven't really been coming to meetings. So I just wanted to see if anything was up with you, if anything was wrong.
Not really trying to avoid you. It's just I've been feeling overwhelmed and not completely confident in the new duties you've assigned me. So I'm kind of been stressing out about that. And I picked up another shift with work. So it kind of all snowballed into one effect.
Gotcha. So yeah, I just really wanted to talk to you about it and maybe try and come up with a solution so that you feel more comfortable. So the whole reason that your workload has increased is because we're a little short-staffed on volunteers right now. So I've really had to increase everybody's duties. So I've tried to do that evenly so that everybody's taking on the same responsibility and the same workload. But if you're feeling overwhelmed, I definitely don't want you to feel that way. So maybe we can come up with a solution so that the work still gets done for me and you're not feeling as overwhelmed.
We can do that. That'll work.
Okay, great. So maybe we can try and come up with some options as to how to make it so that the work's still getting done, but you don't feel as overwhelmed. So is there anything that comes to mind for you right away as a possibility?
These new duties you've assigned, I'm kind of unsure about them. Is there a time that we could sit down and you could go over them a little bit more so I have a little bit more direction of how you want them done? Might make it a little like flow easier and get them done quicker and correctly.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. Definitely sit down and discuss those things in more detail and definitely try and make you more comfortable with them. That's definitely a good idea. Is there anything else that might help you out?
I think I just need to maybe develop a schedule more of what duties should be done what day instead of trying to remember everything all at once, kind of break it down day by day and have maybe a calendar set aside. Might not seem as overwhelming that way.
Okay, so maybe you created something for you where you would have certain tasks that you needed to get done assigned to certain days. That would make it a little bit more helpful.
I think so. I think that'd be a great idea.
Okay, awesome.
It would make me feel a bit more comfortable and feel that I'm managing my time a little bit better.
Okay, great. Anything else that you think might make it a little bit easier on you, or?
Maybe there's some way we can spread the word that we can get a few more volunteers in here to help out and then eventually keep them longer term.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We are definitely short-staffed right now, so being able to get a few more volunteers in here would definitely benefit everybody, because not just you and me, but everybody's workload would decrease a little bit. So I think that's a great idea, because we don't want everybody to feel overwhelmed. So more volunteers, that's a great idea as well.
I think with the more volunteers, when there's days that I have to miss a meeting, I won't feel quite as guilty or as stressed that somebody else can be a backup to what needs to be done.
Yes, definitely. We'll have more coverage, and if you're not able to make something, especially with your other work commitment, then it won't be as big of a deal if you do have to miss it for some reason.
I just don't want to create a heavier stress and workload for everybody else either. I know these are my situations, but I know at the same time they can be somebody else's too.
Right, and we can definitely also have like an all staff, all volunteer meeting to discuss that and kind of let everybody know what the current situation is with being understaffed. And then if we do bring more volunteers on, we can definitely let them know that we have to be flexible and kind of consider everybody else's schedules, because this is a volunteer position. It's not like it's your job, and we're very grateful to have you because you're great. And just like all our other volunteers, we want to keep you. So yeah, we'll definitely make that a priority to kind of sit down with everybody and talk about how we can be a little bit flexible to accommodate everybody's personal needs outside of work.
I appreciate you sitting me down, because I'm not really one to make waves. I try to do as much as possible, as much as I possibly can, and I don't like creating stress for somebody else. So it was kind of difficult for me to come to you. So thank you for coming to me.
Yeah, of course. I just wanted to kind of get it all out in the open, and I could definitely tell that something was different, something going on with you just from our interactions around the chapel. So I wanted to make sure everything was going okay, and so yeah, I'm glad we came up with some solutions. So is there any one of those that maybe we can prioritize or pick one or two that we want to focus on right away? So we talked about you and I sitting down and talking about the responsibilities that I was giving you, and maybe making those a little bit clearer and easier to understand. We talked about making you a schedule so that it's easier for you to see what tasks need to be done by what time, and lay that out kind of day by day. We talked about trying to bring on more volunteers, and then we also talked about sitting down with everybody and talking about flexibility. So is there anything out of those options that you kind of want to focus on first? What do you think?
I think the training would be the best one. Okay. Take an hour or two and just go over everything. I think that would be a very big help.
Okay, awesome. So we will focus on that for sure as our immediate solution, as long as that's okay with you.
Sounds great to me.
Okay, awesome. So is there anything else you would like to discuss?
No, I think that's it. I enjoy being here, and I didn't really know what else to do to make it seem easier or to find a solution.
Okay, well, I'm glad we had this talk because I really do value you as a volunteer, and I want you to stick around for as long as you possibly can. So anytime that you feel overwhelmed, please feel free to come to me, and we'll try to work something out.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. How'd we do? Well, we were at what, 9 minutes?
Yeah, you're at 9 minutes.
We came close.
I was like, you're stretching it.
Ugh.
All right.
All right.
How did each of you feel about the process?
I think it's a good idea. It's a great concept. Sometimes it just feels forced without it being face to face.
Yeah, I agree. It is definitely harder over the computer. And I definitely feel at a bit of an advantage having listened to Jess and Ian do it already. I was kind of able to like pick out like important parts of each role play and kind of bring it to our own. So that was definitely helpful. So the part of the process I like best was not going first.
Same here. It was easier to try to come up with different solutions when all ones were already presented.
Yeah.
All right. What did each party like best about the process?
I guess I kind of like what I just said. Like honestly, like listening to you guys do it first really helped me because I don't know. I just felt like I knew the role plays a little bit better after hearing it twice. So that helped a lot.
Same here. But I liked being able to come up with different solutions. You hear some things and it kind of gets the process rolling. Well, what else can we do with something that's from your background or your expertise that can be applied to this?
All right. What did each party like least about the process?
Not being face to face.
Yeah, I agree with that. It does make it a little bit more difficult. And I also I feel like I should maybe know the steps a little bit better because I kept looking down at my paper and being like, okay, did I cover that? Did I do everything in this step before I move on to the next step kind of thing? So I don't know. Maybe I should have reviewed that a little bit more before actually.
And I was doing the exact opposite, trying not to hit any of the steps.
Right.
All right. What is something that bothered you, Tara?
I mean, I hate to be repetitive, but probably just not being face to face. I feel like it's just so, it would be much more genuine and everything. But I don't know. At the same time, I think I think it went pretty well, but for being on the computer. But I do think it would have been better if we were in person.
I agree because you don't get that emotional contact as much as you do as you're sitting down with someone face to face. You get the genuine feeling that they really do care. It's kind of hard to get that feeling across the computer.
Right. And also body language is such a huge teller when it comes to having this type of conversation with somebody. So like we can only see like this much of our face and how like, you know, what you're doing with the rest of your body. Like, are your legs crossed? Are you crossing your arms? Like all that kind of stuff. So that it would definitely be more beneficial to be in person.
Yeah. So you both answered something that bothered me. So what is something that you wish you hadn't done or said?
I don't know.
Same here. I mean, I wish the conversation had been easier to flow a little bit more. I didn't have to stop and think as much about what I wanted to say next. Because sometimes you lose what you're trying to talk about in translation.
Yeah. And I guess I wish I hadn't had to rely so much on this step thing. That's probably what I would say. Wish I
Agreed.
What is something each of you can do better next time?
Know the steps better.
Yeah. Know the steps and know the role play.
Although I think we had it a little bit easier.
Yeah, I think we did too.
All right. And then the last one, observer shares additional positive observations. I think that am I echoing?
No.
Okay. It sounds like I'm echoing over here.
You are. I hear it on the side too.
Okay. Well, I think I like how Melissa said about Lost in Translation. I think that's a very valid point. I really liked how you guys seemed authentic in the role play, and that you guys really did try to keep eye contact. I mean, we have to look down at some point because we're doing this, but we've got to. I mean, that's just something we're gonna have to do. But I think y'all did a really good job with it.
Thanks.
I thought you guys did a great job, honestly. Like, it was easier for you guys because, I mean, you did it first, but it flowed through to me. I thought you guys did a great job.
You guys, sorry, my dog is not leaving me alone.
It's okay. You can show it. I love dogs, so.
He's not stopped for about 45 minutes. You are why.
What type of dog is that?
He's a wiener dog.
Oh.
All right, but I do. I think y'all did really well, and you could tell that you knew the role play way better than we did the first round. That's for sure.
Well, that's only because you guys gave us a little advantage.
Definitely.
Y'all did good.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, who's up?
What does everybody have left?
I think we only have to do one more.
Just one more?
Yeah, I think Angel needs to pull a skill tool, and Tara or Melissa, you guys can swap. One of you guys can do the one you didn't do.
Okay.
So, I guess I'll be, what, unskilled or? Yeah.
Said unskilled?
Yeah.
So then, Melissa, since I was skilled, do you want to do it?
Oh wait, you were skilled. Okay, so you'll do what? Unskilled?
If you want to do unskilled, Tara, I can be the observer and Angelique can be the skilled, and that should take care of all of them.
True.
That works.
Okay. All right. All right. Can everybody hear me? All right. Hey, how are you?
I'm all right.
How have you been?
You know, I've been okay.
Because I mean, I've been noticing that you've been kind of avoidant, and you know, it's like you're not really trying to, you know, talk to me. You haven't been going to the meetings, and I'm concerned about you, and I want to know what's going on with you.
I guess I've just been feeling like a little bit overwhelmed lately, with the workload that I've been given. So, I don't know. I don't mean it to come across as like avoiding you or anything, but I've just been a little bit overwhelmed and with the tasks that I've been given.
So you've been feeling overwhelmed? Like, so it's the work that I've been giving you that's a bit much for you, or?
Yeah, I think it's the amount of work, and it's the fact that some of the tasks that you've assigned me, I don't really feel comfortable doing, just because I don't really know that much about some of these tasks. So it just seems a little bit overwhelming, and then my regular tasks that I'm usually supposed to be doing get piled up because I have to do this other stuff that now is coming into play. So, yeah, I've just been feeling a little bit overwhelmed.
I'm sorry that you feel that way. You're actually one of the best volunteers we have here. So, I mean, I don't want you to feel that way. Is there a way that I can help you to not make you feel that way? Like, do you have a suggestion?
I guess maybe we could figure out a way to maybe give these tasks that I'm not comfortable doing to somebody else, and maybe I could take on something that they're doing and like kind of trade responsibilities. Maybe something that they're doing is something I might be more comfortable with, and vice versa. I don't know.
I mean, that sounds good. Or maybe we can probably, I guess, get some more volunteers to help you out. I don't want you to feel that the work is too overload for you, but the work, needs to be done. So, what do you feel comfortable with me getting more volunteers to help you out?
Yeah, that's probably a great idea. I guess the whole reason that some of us volunteers have more extra work in the first place is because we've been a little short-staffed lately. So it would probably help to try and bring some more volunteers in and kind of take that extra workload off of me and everybody else. That's probably a good idea.
Right. I just don't want you to feel that way, and I didn't know you felt that way in the first place, but oh Lord. So we'll, I guess, hire some more new volunteers. Is there any more other suggestion, like another suggestion that might feel more comfortable to you that we can?
Maybe like prioritizing the tasks kind of thing. Like, so I know that like I have my everyday assignments that I normally have to do, and then there's this other stuff that I've been taking on. So maybe if you could make me like a list of like what's the most important thing that needs to be done in order, so then if I don't finish something on time, at least I'll have the important stuff done, if that makes sense.
So basically, like giving you like a deadline for what needs to be done.
Yeah, and like some type of order as to like which tasks are most important that they need to be done first.
Okay.
Before I get to the other stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I mean, I can definitely do that for you. I'll sit down and go over what task needs to be done and what needs to be done first, and then you can do that and then worry about the next thing after. And I'll see if I can get more volunteers to help you with that.
Yeah, I think those are all good ideas, and that'll probably definitely help me feel a little less overwhelmed and more comfortable, because I really do like volunteering here. It's just been so stressful lately that, it's just hard for me to get everything done on time. So I think those are some good solutions for us to explore.
Yeah, we love having you here. So, if you're not happy, we're not happy. So, yeah. All right. So definitely we'll get to that. And I do apologize that, you felt that way. If you do have any more concerns, you can feel free to speak to me about it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes I can be a little bit shy, so that's why I didn't really come and say anything to you in the first place. So, yeah.
Okay. So, this brought my attention. Maybe we can, since you're shy, maybe we can possibly do like, a get together with the volunteers, and I guess kind of like, so that you can feel more comfortable to approach others or to me. I'm not sure if you, maybe want to add that and like maybe think about that. We can probably do something like that, like a get to know each other.
Yeah, that sounds like a great
Gathering
idea.
with the volunteers.
Yeah, like getting to know you and everybody else outside of the volunteer work would definitely make me more comfortable with coming forward with any problems that I might have. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Okay, awesome. Okay. All right. I don't know how long that was. It does feel long.
I think you're at like 7 or 8
7.5 minutes.
You said how long?
What's that?
What did you say? You said how long?
7.5.
It feels so long.
It does.
Oh my gosh.
You guys did 13 minutes. That second, Jess and Ian. I don't know how you got
Yeah. I don't know how they did that.
Just lucky.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did each of you feel about the process?
Oh Lord. Oh gosh. I mean, it's one thing to be on the other side looking at it, but like actually doing it is something else. Like I felt like I was stuck. Like I didn't know what to say, or like if I was probably saying the right thing. It was a bit challenging for me. For the skill part.
Yeah. I liked that I got to do the skilled and the unskilled, and kind of see both sides of the situation. And it's like I definitely found it a little difficult to come up with like more and more problems, more and more solutions to try and like fix everything. But yeah, I thought it went well overall.
What did you like best about being on the unskilled, Tara?
I don't know. I guess probably that like I didn't have to look at the role play thing. I was just like, this is what I think, and this is what's bothering me. I didn't really have to worry about like following a process. It was kind of more like, as long as you know what your position is, it's a lot easier, I guess, than actually being the one that's like leading the discussion and trying to get the problem solved. It's easier to just be like, well, these are my problems.
How about you, Angeli?
Honestly, I thought, like, I don't know, like, it was just, for my part, I feel like it was just too much. Just for me, because I don't, like, again, I didn't know what to say. You know, you're trying to help that person, trying to make sure that the person feels comfortable and whatnot, but like, you don't want to say the wrong thing. So, yeah, I mean,
What did you each like least about the process?
I didn't like the timing. Like, it was just, I feel like it was too long to me. Like, I feel like I was one by the time, like you said earlier, like, it was just, that's probably why I probably didn't really like say too much, because I'm just trying to worry about the time to make sure that, like, okay, is it enough time? It's like, I was worried about something else.
Yeah, definitely the time thing. I feel like it would be a lot more natural if we weren't having to worry about like meeting a certain time limit. And just like, I don't know, I guess the thing I like least is how like forced it has to be. Like, I don't know, I just wish it like it kind of would have been like, I feel like almost better if we got to like come up with our own problem like we got to do last time, and then like it would actually seem genuine, you know, rather than doing the role play. But then at the same time, we wouldn't see everybody do different roles with the same thing. So I understand why we did it that way. But
What bothered you about this portion of it, Angeli?
What bothered me the most was just, I guess, basically trying to figure out what to say to her. Like, I got stuck. Like, it was just me trying to figure out, okay, again, like, am I saying this the right way? You know, stuff like that. It's just me trying to figure out what to say to her. That's what bothered me the most.
What is something you wish you hadn't done or said?
I don't know. Like, I kind of brought up the whole like volunteer gathering. Like, I was just like, what did I just say? It was just like, it just something that just came out. Like, it was just like, why would I say that? You know? Yeah, that that was just weird.
I liked that because you were like in the moment. I don't know. I thought it was good.
It just came out. Like, I don't know. That was just weird.
I like it.
How about you, Tara?
I was definitely like struggling to come up with like different solutions than we had in the last couple times. So like, I don't remember what the first thing I mentioned was. Whatever the first solution I came up with, I was just like spitting words out. I don't even remember what I said because I was trying to come up with something different and it didn't come out the way I wanted to, and then I don't know. So whatever the first solution I suggested was, I wish I hadn't. I don't even remember.
Prioritizing?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
I like this exercise because it shows how easy it is to switch back and forth between roles when you don't really pay attention or you get stuck in a particular situation. And you guys did a really good job of, you got into that kind of situation, but you got yourselves back out of that situation, back to the skilled and the unskilled.
Yeah, and I like how when you did get stuck, you came right back to it. And it was, when you came right back to it, it was actually almost like you were in the moment. And that whole workplace gathering, volunteer gathering thing, I actually liked it because it showed me that you were thinking outside the box and being creative.
Thanks.
I think Angel set that up nicely. You kind of kept that role differentiation where it's a, we'll work on this, but however, there are things that need to be met Just from our scenario, Jess, I felt there was a lot more, not rigidity, but there was more structure to how Angela was setting up her side of the argument. Kind of like, hey, there's definitely a role. We've got supervisor, you know, and you know, volunteer. We're gonna work this thing out together. But there's stuff that has to get done. So I think from what I saw, that allowed you to kind of go right into that. Well, hey, here's some more solutions. Why don't we do this, and kind of let you be in that moment.
I agree.
All right.
Yeah.
Are we doing another one, or that's it?
Yeah, that's it. We're done with exercise 1 of assignment 3. So that's good. Looking ahead to assignment 4, I'm actually going to go ahead and stop the recording